the Wednesday edition of the Art Lewis Show. And I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll have open phones for the next 20 minutes or so. 989-752-6111. 9:30 this morning, Tim Morales, Saginaw City Manager, is going to join us. At 10 o'clock, we're going to have some folks from the Midland Brewing Company. We've got a special event that we're hosting tonight at the Midland Brewing Company. And then at around 10:30, 10:35, Pastor Chris Pryor will be here to talk about Victorious Believers family event going on this week. At 11 o'clock on Focus, we will chat with folks from Delta Door. So that's what's ahead this morning. But again, we'll take the first few minutes of the show here and take open phones. And Carl is waiting to do just that. Carl, good morning.
Good morning, Art. Got a beautiful day here.
Yeah, it looks good. It's cool out, though.
Yeah, it's a little on the cool side, but I don't mind. I don't mind wearing a jacket or a sweatshirt in the morning.
I don't either.
The Democratic convention has been going on the last couple of days.
Oh, really? I hadn't noticed. Yeah.
you didn't see that, huh? Must have slipped under your radar.
Yeah, actually, I haven't. Normally, and I don't care whose convention it is, normally I like to watch them. But I've been busy and out of the house, and I haven't been able to watch them, so I haven't seen much of it.
Yeah, well, the Obamas spoke last night.
Yep.
And I know I think you may have a kind of a crush on Michelle Obama. But she,
I don't have a crush on her.
The way you talk about her, I don't know. I think there's something going on there.
I think she would be a popular candidate.
I
didn't say I'd vote for her, but I said I think she'd be a popular candidate who would win if she ever ran. That's all.
Yeah, well, she knocked it out of the park last night.
So I've read.
By all accounts.
Yep. So I've read. So did he.
Some of the other speakers they've had are some former Republicans.
Yep.
Who were speaking at the Democratic convention. One of them was Stephanie Grisham, and she was Trump's former press secretary.
Yep.
And one of the things she said last night, which really caught my eye, was she said that Trump has contempt for his followers. He calls them basement dwellers when he's in private. Just something I'd like the Trump supporters just to be aware of, that how Trump feels about his supporters, behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's what she says. I don't know. I mean, listen.
Yeah, okay.
I take it all with a grain of salt, and this is what I feel is going to happen. You're going to get a bump in the ratings, in the polling, because of the convention, because you always do. Everybody does. Republicans did. Democrats will, too. And then it will settle down to the real contest between the two of them. And then the polls will tighten up, and I think we're going to have a neck-and-neck race. Although I would tell you right now, if I'm a betting man and we're going to bet on the outcome of the race, and this will change as time goes on, but today, if the election were today, I would bet on Harris to win.
I agree with you.
I wouldn't vote for her, but I'd bet on Harris to win today. Now, a month from now, I'm going to have a different opinion probably because the polls are going to tighten up and the race is going to be tighter and all of that. But
I agree with that. That's probably going to happen also. But today, if the election were today, I think she's got the win behind her right now. And, I've heard that she's crossed over from the political world. She's crossed over into a cultural, phenomenon, something happening in the culture. She's caught the attention, of the, not just people who pay attention to politics, but
we'll see. Time will tell.
One other thing that
we'll see how much to the center she keeps moving to try and make us think that she's moderate.
Right. Well, like no politician has ever done
exactly.
that.
That's how you win. All right.
Okay.
All right, Carl. Thanks.
Thanks, Art.
Yeah, take care. Bye-bye. And here's Paul in Saginaw. Paul, good morning.
Morning, Art. On Monday night, first night of the convention, the UAW president there was kind of popping off against Trump and the Republicans. And then this morning I see on your TV network, General Motors announcing they're going to lay off 1,000 workers. Is there any connection to that, or what do you think?
No, there's no connection. There's no connection to that. There's no connection to Stellantis laying off a bunch. They're business decisions.
Okay.
That's all. I mean, that's what companies do, you know. This is, despite what Mr. Fain says, whether he likes it or not, it's a business decision.
Right, and the administration keeps touting we're creating all these jobs.
Well,
but they don't talk about any of the layoffs.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, yeah.
That's politics for you.
You got it. All right.
All right.
Take care.
All right, later.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Okay.
And here's Bob in Saginaw. Bob, good morning.
Good morning, Art. How are you today?
Doing well.
Good. Yeah, you know, anybody that thinks they're better off today than they were under President Trump, I understand how they can even say that. And I have been watching at night the Democratic convention, and last night they were pretty careful in what they said as far as saying President Trump's name. But the night before when Biden talked, I think he said Trump's name more in his 40 minutes of talking there than I've ever heard it said before.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they want to tell us that they're going to do positive, 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 and we want to unite. But yet they keep tearing him down. They'd be better off to talk about something else. Tell us what they're going to do, not how bad somebody else is.
If they tell us what they're going to do, we won't vote for them.
Well, yeah, you are 100%. Well, that's not going to happen anyway with me.
Yeah,
but with this woman, if this, you know, people say, oh, if Trump's the best they've got. Well, if Kamala is the best they have, this is a circus.
Yeah.
This woman is. There's no way that this woman should be running the country.
Well, she's not yet.
Well,
but don't forget, Democrats say
the president right now.
Yeah, but don't forget, Democrats say the same thing about Trump. So I mean,
I know. It's a two-way street.
Yep.
But they want to unite, and you shouldn't say bad things, and yet they continually say bad things. They're downing everybody all the time.
Well,
they need to listen to themselves.
Both sides are doing that, and that's what politics has become
I'll go along
today.
with that.
That's what politics has become
unfortunately.
Today. Name calling and all that stuff. Oh, well.
Yeah. Nice talking to you. Have a great day.
All right, Bob.
Yeah,
thanks.
it does.
Take care.
Okay, yep. Bye-bye.
All right, take a break. Come back. We'll try and get a call or two in before we chat with the Saginaw City Manager.
From cars and trucks.
All right, back with you. Time for one more call, and we have Billy in Freeland waiting for us. Billy, good morning.
Hi, Art.
Hi.
I just wanted to shore up Carl's statement about what Grisham had said last night about Trump's quoting what his base was like. In Michael Wolff's book called Landslide, I actually marked this because I thought it was so ironic. He says, Trump often expressed puzzlement over who these people were, their low-rent trailer camp bearing and their get-ups, once joking that he should have invested in a chain of tattoo parlors and shaking his head about the great unwashed. That's just awful. You know, using people for votes, but talking about them like that underneath. So anyway, Carl, there are two.
Yeah, there's more than two.
Two sources, I should say.
There's probably more than two. I would bet on it.
Okay.
So,
not
surprised. All right, Billy, thanks. Bye-bye now. All right, so we'll, can we squeeze another call in? If you call in real quick here, we got a few minutes before we get to chat with Tim Morales, the Saginaw City Manager. 989-752-6111. You know, I've spent my entire career in broadcasting and having to follow politics, and since the 1988, I guess, talk about politics on the air. And I have become disgusted. I used to really enjoy politics. I don't anymore. I just think that we've gotten so far off norm that I just can't enjoy it anymore. Let's get Alan on here in Freeland. Alan, good morning.
No, it's John, John.
Oh, okay. It says Alan. All right. Well, hi, John.
Yeah, good morning, Art.
Good morning.
Art, I heard on your news segment at 9 o'clock hour, Michelle Obama was quoted saying it was her biggest hitting note of the night there was how she thought that Donald Trump was maybe running for a black job.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that division? I mean, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, of course it is. You know, all of that stuff is division.
Well, what was... I mean, I don't think a white person could get away with saying something quite like that.
Nope,
that's the national media.
Part of the problem. You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah, it would never get out. I know that.
From a party that says, "Oh, we're the uniters," they keep pointing out the division, and it makes no sense to me.
Yep, and I thought we weren't supposed to see color anymore. We're supposed to.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. That's why it points out division instead of uniting. It divides.
They sure keep jabbing. I mean, I don't think it's right either way. I mean.
Well, no, you're correct about that, but it's one of the reasons I said before you got on that I'm disgusted with politics. It's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. There's
all right.
Lots of reasons to be disgusted for sure.
All right, John. Good enough. Thanks.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye. All right, this will be the last caller, Susan in Bay City. Susan, good morning.
Morning, Art. I had a quickie anyway. Last night, Bill O'Reilly had a really good bombshell. The Judge Merchan there from the New York hush money. Well, all while his daughter has a business that basically gets paid by the Democratic National, the DNC. And through the first 6 months of the year, the Democrats paid Lauren's company, that's his daughter, she's 35, Lauren Merchan, $13 million for the dirt on Donald Trump. So he must have been funneling stuff to her or something, and then she would receive, and it was from the Information Act, so it was, if he quotes something, he tells you where he got it and that it's fact. So he said if anything throws out Trump's whole trial in New York, it would be that fact. Yeah,
maybe. We'll see.
Yep. But anyway,
still a maybe.
What a dirty deal, hey? What a dirty deal. What we should have known. Thanks, Art. Thanks for your program. Bye-bye.
All right, Susan. Take care. Bye-bye now. All right. Well, I tell you, if nothing else, politics has become entertainment. It's funny. It's not so funny, actually, but it follows what's happened in the news world, particularly on the national level. They've become entertainers rather than journalists. All the talking head panels because they have to fill time. And politics has become that way. It's become an entertainment game. He said, she said, let's see who gets the one-upmanship. I think we should start a game show called Politics. Of course, there is one. It's called Election Day. It's when the audience gets to vote. But it just seems to me that we've gone so far astray. All right, we're going to take a break. We come back. We'll be chatting with Saginaw City Manager Tim Morales.
Next week, I turn.
All right, we're back with you here on the Art Lewis Show, and as promised, we will have a conversation now with Tim Morales, the Saginaw City Manager. Tim, good morning to you.
Good morning, Art. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. I had an occasion Monday night to be the escort, the sheriff's escort for the counter crews in the city, all the bicyclists. We probably had about 150 of them out, and they've had more at times. I followed them around and saw things in the city I didn't even know existed. It was interesting.
Yeah.
It really was. One of the things that I've seen, though, in driving through the city, a lot of streets are having repair work done. Is it road surface or is it utility work?
It's both. So anytime well, I guess I'll have to say it depends, but many times it's both because when we open up that street, our infrastructure for water distribution or wastewater is typically older. So if we're opening up the street, we want to take care of that at the same time so that, if we have to put down new concrete, we don't have to tear that up because there's a water main break or something like that. But another project we've been doing for the past several years that our public services department came up with, a lot of our residential streets that you're seeing redone are mill and surface replacement. So that one we wouldn't be doing the infrastructure because we'll grind down the surface a few inches and then put new layer of blacktop that allows us to extend the life of that street and then also provide a better driving service for the residents who live there and travel through there.
Is there more of it going on this year? It just seems to me I've seen more of it than I have in the past.
Yeah, there's different types of work going on. I mean, I know what you're talking about because probably since the spring there have been detours all over the area
exactly.
in the city and surrounding areas. Consumers Energy is doing a lot of work as well in the area for lines. I'm not sure what types of lines are replacing. I think gas is one of them. But a lot of the detours are related to their work. So you have, in the city you'll have the state of Michigan doing road work or maintenance. You'll have the city doing road work maintenance, and you'll have consumers doing work. So you have all those different, and AT&T as well. So, yeah, it's been a lot of work, but that's good for us because it's upgrading various services and infrastructure.
Let me ask what the advent of the new high school and the new structure of the Saginaw schools means for the city.
Oh, I think it's a great opportunity for the school system to really showcase what they have. And it shows, I think, what it illustrates for the city residents is their willingness to invest in education because that is a pretty significant bond that was passed by the residents to build a new school. So now we're going through that process, or the school district is. We're helping out in any way that we can, but it's not our project, obviously. But I think it's going to show the families in the city that the residents are willing to invest in education, provide the best building possible, and provide the amenities that help kids get ahead.
So, Tim, where are we financially in the city of Saginaw, even, with the tax cap and all that said and done? Mm-hmm. What's the financial health of the city?
Well, we're in good overall financial health. We have a very healthy fund balance. We're surpassed our goal on that. We have a capital fund, which we haven't had for years and years and years. That's just a kind of a savings fund to do capital work so we don't have to get loans or bond for various things. So we're in great shape there. The issue that we have in the long run is really the tax cap because it impacts us in so many ways. We talked about several times where we're limited on revenue to $1,979, the $3.8 million max, or 7.5 mils, whichever is less, which is an interesting form. But that impacts us in a lot of other ways too because our bond rating is limited, and I've been through this several times with Standard & Poor's and Moody's rating services that rate municipal bonds. But we're almost capped at that level that we're rated because we can't increase our revenue. So that's one of the things. They'll look at our audit and say, "You guys are doing well financially. Your revenues are in line with your expenditures, but here we see this. What's this? You can never increase your property tax revenue." So that's a ding on us that we'll always have as long as we have that tax cap.
So what's the answer for the city to get around that tax cap? I know that, for example, when they changed the home rule law, you were able to get a public service millage, for example. Is that the answer, or everything is going to have to be separated out and voted on by the public?
Well, as the city, as the city or residents that want to change that, or if the council wants to put it on the ballot, our option is to take it back to the voters and let the voters decide. We've done that multiple times, and it's never been lifted. And two is kind of like you say, it's kind of a pay per service. So we've gotten into that mode for different things because we do have the public safety millage, which is, as you said, required a state law for us to be able to do that. But that's as many mills as our cap is for a general fund, just for to go towards police and fire. So that shows the limitation there. As a countywide road millage just passed, that I think did pretty well in the city to do more road work like we talked about earlier. But yeah, those are kind of piece by piece items, and you've seen that over the years. And you'll recall the zoo used to be a city department, STARS used to be a city department. Those are independent entities now that are funded by the zoo, a countywide millage, STARS, a citywide millage. So that is really what's had to be done over the years.
There's almost a bit of a paradox here in the fact that through good fiscal management, which you've done, you have a fund balance, you have a capital balance. It's almost tough to go back to the public and say, well, we need the cap lifted.
Yeah, yes and no, because we do have that healthy fund balance, and we're doing well financially. We're doing all this work on City Hall without borrowing money. Of course, a chunk of that is ARPA, but there's another $4 million from our capital fund that we're using. But look at the services that we used to provide that we no longer provide. Parks and recreation, if that's something, our maintenance on parks consists of grass cutting and tree timbering. We don't have the type of services that we used to have. And again, we don't have the amenities we have when we had the splash pad or the wave pool and the water slide, but there are other amenities we could provide in parks if we had more funding. Staffing for one, we've had such limited staff we aren't able to have the restrooms open and at the splash pad from time to time. We only have, I think, a max of 6 or 7 employees working those large cemeteries that we have, and I think they do a great job. But increased staff would make them look better and for people that are there to visit their loved ones. So there's services like that we don't have any longer, I think need to be pointed out, that even with in good financial health and with a fund balance, those types of things that we can't sustain year to year are what we've lost.
So what would be the difference if the tax cap were lifted? What does that provide the city financially? How much can you levy?
Well, and that's the issue that you really have to communicate well, because there's big misconceptions about it's a immediate impact, or my taxes are going to go up right away. But there are other controls in place where that wouldn't happen. So if you didn't have a tax cap, it's a long-term impact on the city, for future planning where your revenues can go up as you develop. So if you have a new manufacturing plant that comes into the city that's valued at $100 million or something like that, that's going to increase your tax base then, and you're going to collect more taxes. With the tax cap as it is now, we don't get that increase. The tax roll assessment just goes down. The millage would go down to keep us at that $3.8 million. So you're looking at, okay, you would have a whole new view on development where let me get these businesses into the city to increase our tax base and increase jobs. Right now, we always look at how many jobs are going to be at this development because we're so dependent on income tax.
Right. All right, hang on. I got to take a break, and we'll come back and chat a little more. We're talking to Saginaw City Manager Tim Morales, and we'll be back with Tim after these notes. Let me take a moment to talk about Quick Lane Freeland. Quick Lane Freeland, next to my car dealer, McDonald Ford. I was in there yesterday to have my car serviced. And it is a one-stop shop for all of your routine maintenance. Oil changes, brakes, batteries, tires. You'll find it all and more at Quick Lane Freeland. And you will also find a product called FrigiFresh. This is a hospital disinfectant that they place in your air conditioning system. Kills germs, mildew, odors, pollen, and keeps you healthy inside the cabin of your car, which we don't often think about. We don't often think about the fact that cars, for example, have cabin filters today. It's important to have that checked, too. But stop in to Quick Lane Freeland for FrigiFresh. It's $20, takes 10 minutes. You don't need an appointment, and they'll be happy to take care of you. But by the way, Quick Lane Freeland is taking appointments for service. At the top of each hour, there is an appointment hole where you can actually make an appointment. Otherwise, you can just drive in and have the work done, because drive-ins are welcome. Quick Lane Freeland, next to McDonald Ford, working on all makes and models of cars, keeping them in tip-top shape.
Hello, this is Mel Smith with...
All right, back with you on the Art Lewis Show. We're talking to Saginaw City Manager Tim Morales. Tim, it'd be wonderful to see lots of companies, manufacturing companies, come back in and locate in the city of Saginaw. We've got Corning building a $1 billion-plus project out in Hemlock. It's going to be 1,100 employees. Is the city prepared for an influx of new residents, particularly from the housing standpoint?
Well, I think we're getting there. There's a lot of interest in new building. We've got projects going up in that have been approved by planning in Old Town, and some that are currently ongoing. And we're hoping that there will be a lot of additional housing in downtown as well, related to the Medical Diamond. But I think that housing issue is a county-wide problem, especially if we're trying to attract so many new residents and workers. That's going to be necessary for our entire region due to limited housing. I think it's an issue that can be tackled at the county level, but also by each local unit. We've identified over the years that we do have a need for additional housing in the city, so it's something we've been trying to address. But it does take a big team. We saw a few weeks ago that Covenant is also working on that issue. So I think we're in a spot where we can address it, but it does take a lot of partners to work through it.
Yeah, and it just seems that the cost of housing today, just the construction costs alone, the days of moderate and reasonable priced housing, few and far between.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. Well, hopefully the construction prices will come down over the next few years, back to closer to where they were pre-pandemic. But at this point, yeah, you're right. The new housing build is pretty significant. Where we're the advantage we have in the city here is that we have we talk about the infrastructure aging, but we do have it there. So we have the capacity to provide water, wastewater treatment, and all the pipes are in the ground already. So we're ready to build in a lot of instances where many parts of the state of Michigan or across the country aren't, if they don't have that capacity there.
Is there enough property available in the city for both single family and multiple family dwellings?
Yeah, I think so. There are various ways to do it. No, we have a lot of developers that are looking at business repurposing. You've seen that in Old Town already quite a bit, where you see a lot of activity with the buildings there. They're being repurposed into housing or new businesses. And obviously we have that potential downtown, but we also have the Saginaw County Land Bank being a huge holder of vacant property that's zoned residential throughout the city. And one project that we're working on is trying to get pre-approved building plans for residential units, which would be primarily single-family units, so that They're approved through our planning process. They're approved by engineers, so that saves costs for people who are looking to build. So they know, hey, these are already easily permitted. They're approved by the city, so we don't have to go through that process. Some other cities have been doing that, even in Michigan. So that's a project we're working on right now too.
Speeds up the process.
Definitely, yep, and it can save money on those initial costs for planning and permitting.
Let's go back to the city budget just for a minute. We live in an age, even though inflation is coming down month to month, it's still cumulative. How has inflation impacted the city?
It has a huge impact on our budget because, for a lot of our departments, fuel costs are a major component of that, particularly public safety, policing, inspections, code enforcement. Those are all highly intensive fuel users. So the gas price has an impact on the budget. Our infrastructure projects that we look at, a lot of those initially, especially 2021, 2022, were coming back probably 50% more than what our engineering estimates were, just because the prices were so high. So we did have to cut back on some of those projects. We are the good point is we're starting to see some of that come down a little bit. We just had a project come back that was lower than anticipated, which I think was the first time in quite a while that's happened. But yeah, that impacts how much we can build, how many projects we can do. It just increases the overall budget if it's fuel related, and so it does have a significant impact.
So I'm curious, with all of this going on, the city lives within its cap. How in the world did you increase the fund balance on the capitalization fund?
Well, a lot of work on operations. So we really trimmed things that for spending, put in a lot of spending controls, and we also worked with one big impact that we had is we worked with our retirees on retiree health care. That was something that was probably pretty out of control. And what we did was, I think we had over 20 different retiree health care plans at one time.
Oh, wow.
So their retirees are no longer union members, so we couldn't negotiate with the union. So we went directly to the retirees and worked through this process with them. It was a long process because obviously they want to make sure that they maintain the benefits that they worked for. But we've got that down to, I think it's 2 or 3 plans now. So it's a much more cost-effective way to do it. We had plans, retiree healthcare plans out there that didn't exist for anyone else anymore. So you can imagine the premium costs on those. It's just something that, hadn't been managed in the city for years and years. So it took us probably 4 years to work through that process, and that's been a big saver for us. We've made a lot of changes in the way we manage our pension costs too, that have we've actually been able to pay more into our pensions than we were paying because of some changes that we've made there. So hopefully that has a very positive long-term impact on the city too, as we become better funded, that our annual required contribution goes down. So those things have been pretty significant. And what we had to do in 2011 or so was we had to reduce services again.
Yeah.
So that's something we've been gradually increasing. I think we've gone up 6 or 7, maybe even a little bit more police officers since that reduction. We've added a few positions in fire. But it's something when we look at that, we say, if we're going to add, we have to be able to sustain that.
Right. That's the key.
So, yes. So even if we have a healthy fund balance, you can't use that to pay for ongoing services. So that's our next goal, is to try to, how do we change the services and modify so we can provide better services?
Well, Tim, listen, as always, thank you for your time this morning. We'll do it again down the road. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Art.
As always, have a good day.
You too.
Take care. Bye-bye now. Tim Morales, the Saginaw City Manager, we thank him for joining us. We'll take a break, tell you what's ahead. We'll do it for the first hour of the Art Lewis Show. Our thanks to Tim Morales. Coming up, we're going to chat with some folks from Midland Brewing Company for a little bit. We've got a big event there tonight. And then later on in the hour, Pastor Chris Pryor will be with us from Victorious Believers to talk about their family event.
Broadcasting from the... Officials tell CBS News the Secret Service has approved new bulletproof glass to go around the podiums and stages at Trump's outdoor events.
Breaking news from Chicago. Police have arrested a man wanted for murder after he held them at bay for hours inside a restaurant just blocks from the Democratic convention. CBS's Jennifer Kuiper is in Chicago.
When police found Joshua Zimmerman at the Seafood Junction restaurant, he barricaded himself inside and was in a standoff with a SWAT team. Zimmerman had been charged with attempted murder and armed robbery in an incident in South Haven, Mississippi last September.
The Justice Department is investigating the privately operated Trousdale prison in Tennessee over complaints of violence and sexual abuse. U.S. Attorney Henry Leventis.
Trousdale has been plagued by chronic, serious problems since it first opened its doors.
Trousdale, the state's largest prison, opened in 2016. Ford is slowing down plans for EVs and focusing on combo cars instead. WWJ's Jeff Gilbert.
With billions in electric vehicle losses piling up, Ford is scrapping plans for an electric SUV and delaying an EV plant. Chief Financial Officer John Lawler says they will launch more hybrids.
And that's what's going to be very important, is that we understand the shifting requirements for customers and what they want.
Ford will now concentrate on electric vans and pickups for the commercial market.
A high wattage marriage is over. CBS's Stacey Lynn says Jennifer Lopez has filed for divorce from Ben Affleck.
The power couple first met on the movie set of Geely in the early 2000s.
I'm sorry. Do we know each other?
Not yet. It wasn't until 2 decades later they rekindled their romance and finally got married. The breakup this time around comes exactly 2 years after their Georgia wedding.
The Dow is up 76 points in early trading. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit Progressive.com.
Quick question. Are you
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom. This is WSGW News.
Sunny skies and 63 degrees at 10:05. Good morning. I'm Mike Percha. A 50-year-old Gratiot County woman was on the run from police in Isabella County yesterday after a bank fraud incident. Police in Shepherd responded to a mercantile bank to confront the woman, who they say was posing as a customer and was involved in bank and identification fraud. The woman fled the scene in a vehicle after police arrived. Pursuit was called off after the woman first entered Gratiot, then Montcalm counties. Police have determined her residence is in Gratiot County. The Isabella County Prosecutor's Office will issue formal charges. A child was hit by a car in Mount Morris yesterday. According to police, the incident occurred at the intersection of Saginaw Road and Jefferson Street sometime in the afternoon. The girl, 6 years old, was taken to a local hospital for surgery. She's listed in a critical condition. The police say the driver is cooperating in the investigation. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is bringing its 2024 Moms Tour focused on maternal health to the region. Here's WSGW's Christiana Malacara.
The meeting will be held in Flint on Saturday, August 24th. The national tour addresses alarming maternal mortality rates, especially among African American and American Indian Alaskan Native women. The event will be held at the Cathedral of Faith from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. and will offer vital resources in mental health. To learn more, visit themomstour.info. This is Christiana Malagata, News Radio 100.5 and 790.
WSGW News Time 10:07.
As we head into the
WSGW News Time 10:08, the weather forecast is coming up. If you've always wanted to get a Sam's Club membership, now is the time. The retailer has announced that through Friday, new members can get a membership to the warehouse stores starting at $20. The $20 fee is for the normally $50 club membership tier. If you're looking for the Plus membership, it will cost you $60, which is normally a full $110. Just a reminder, these deals are for new members only. Soon, it will be easier to track tornadoes and wildfires in Michigan. A company called Climavision is installing upwards of 200 radar systems across the country, with 3 that will cover blind spots in Michigan. That data, as Chris Good mentions, can be used to help a lot of people when it's shared with the National Weather Service and local television stations.
They're already gaining access to these radars, and they're already able to use them in operations to help mitigate the impacts of the tornadoes that you mentioned, but also other types of weather. Snow squalls in the winter are a particular type of weather phenomenon that are often missed by NEXRADs because of the beam height challenges.
The first radar will be installed in Toledo next year, followed by another in Saginaw and Midland, and the third in the Northwest near Frankfurt in about 2.5 years. A 40-year-old doctor is accused of sex crimes involving children and adults in Oakland County. The prosecutor's office has filed 10 charges against Amir Ajaz, but that charge could grow. He allegedly installed hidden cameras and recorded victims ranging in age from 2 years old to grown adults while they were nude, according to the Sheriff's Department. Detectives believe Ajaz recorded sexual encounters he had with numerous women, as well as with hospital patients who were either asleep or unconscious. Ajaz is being held in jail on a $2 million bond. WSGW News Time at 10:10. I'm Mike Percha.
Show. Later on in this hour, we're going to talk to Pastor Chris Pryor from Victorious Believers about their big family event this week. But we've got another event to talk about, which happens before that. It happens this evening at the Midland Brewing Company, and WSGW and Alpha Media are sponsoring, and we'll tell you about it this morning. We have a number of guests in the studio. First of all, from Midland Brewing Company, Evan Westervelt, who is Sales and Marketing Manager. Evan, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
You bet. Carly Strattinger is with us. She's the event coordinator. Good morning, Carly.
Good morning.
And from the Midland Business Alliance, we have Mary Beth Pinkella. Good morning, Mary Beth.
Good morning.
And then some guy sitting over in the corner we call Boss. I don't know his name. We just call him Boss. So,
good morning, Art.
Mark Thomas is with us, the general manager here at Alpha Media. So, maybe, Mark, we should start with you and how we got involved in what's happening tonight.
Well, Art, we're
turn that microphone so we can.
Really excited to be able to be out at the Midland Brewing Company and partner with them to be the sponsor of the After Hours event with the Midland Business Alliance tonight. They have a beautiful area at Midland Brewing Company. The Red Keg area, I guess, is what it would be referred to. And we were interested in being able to sponsor it. We're very proud of the fact that 2 of Alpha's radio stations are the top 2 radio stations in Midland County. Moose is the top station, and WSGW is the number 2 station there. And so we're trying to spread the good word and, celebrate our success.
Yeah, great. I'll be down for a raise in just a little while.
Put that in pencil.
Yeah, with a big eraser. I know. Well, let's get a little history of the Midland Brewing Company. Evan, tell us a little bit about Midland Brewing and its history.
Yeah, so long story short, I'll start with the original brewery opened up in 1935.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so 1935, they were open for a little less than a year.
I mean, that's before craft breweries and microbrews came along.
It was right after
Prohibition.
Prohibition is the word. Wow, I was I was struggling for words there. But yeah, so we opened. Brewery opened in 1935, was open for less than a year, and then they closed the doors. And so in 2010, Midland Brewing reopened, and Dave, our current owner, Dave Kepler, bought the place in 2016, and he's invested a lot into the brewery, put in the full kitchen, our beautiful outdoor space that Mark was mentioning.
And when you say brewery, you are crafting beer there, right?
We are. We have 15 taps inside. We have 8 taps outside and another 6 in the Red Keg.
Yes.
Yep.
How many different brews do you create?
We do somewhere around 40 to 50 each year.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
I didn't know there were that many beers.
Yeah,
Not
so
a beer
we have
drinker, right?
we have two setups. We have our 15-barrel brew house, which allows us to brew 30-barrel batches of beer, 2 turns of the brew system. And then we have a 3-barrel pilot system. A 3-barrel is essentially 6 half-barrel kegs, right? And so we can really rotate through beers, experiment, try some fun stuff, and see if it hits. And if it hits, then we move it up to the bigger scale.
Now, this event tonight is not for the general public, but it is for members of the Midland Business Alliance. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the Midland Business Alliance excuse me, is a Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development in one organization. So that's why we're called a Business Alliance. We have a business after hours event once a month in the evening. It's from 5 to 7, and it's for all of our members to come and enjoy some drinks, which a lot of people are excited about this one just because they know that there's going to be good food and beer at this. But yeah, so we invite our members to come out. So if you work for one of our 800 member businesses, you come out, you get drinks, you get food. We have some really good drawings.
But that
going
is a
on as well.
requirement. You have to be affiliated with the Midland Business Alliance.
Yeah, unless Mark wants to buy more beer for everybody.
You have to be
a member.
With the
I think we established that with our earlier.
Yes, you have to be a member. And if you're not already a member, I'm your person to join. It's
There
easy to
you
join.
go.
So come on over. You can join still before tonight. You can come enjoy.
There you go. All right, we'll get your numbers later. And we'll also talk to Carly in a minute here about some of the events that happen at the Midland Brewing Company. We'll take a break first, and then we'll be back.
It's that time again.
In studio with us, we have Evan Westervelt, Sales and Marketing Manager at Midland Brewing Company. Carly Strattinger, who we're going to talk to here. She's the event coordinator for Midland Brewing. Mary Beth Pinkella from Midland Business Alliance. And if somebody wants to join, how do they get a hold of you?
Anyway, I'm easy to find. No, you can go on the website, mbami.org, and join on the website or give our office a call, and they'll put you through to me.
And also with us is Mark Thomas, our general manager here at WSGW and Alpha Media, sponsoring tonight's After Hours at the Midland Brewing Company. But I noticed in going to the Midland Brewing site, there's a caption, Carly, called events. So do you do lots of events at the Brewing Company?
We do. We have a gorgeous private event venue called the Red Keg Barrel House. It's also our barrel aging facility where we have whiskey barrels lining one wall, and they are filled with wonderful selections of our beers that we age. So we do a lot of on-site private events, a lot of corporate luncheons, meetings, rehearsal dinners and showers, all sorts of events. We also have public events on site. So September 5th, we have a street food festival we're doing in our backyard space.
Ooh, really?
Yes. So a wonderful selection of a couple different street foods. We have Thai chicken satay and things like that. It'll be $37.50 before tax per ticket, and it's all you can eat. We're going to have live music with Brett Mitchell in the backyard, and we're going to have our outdoor beer garden space open. So we have a shipping container beer garden for outdoor beer service as well. We do a lot of different festivals throughout the year.
Where is Midland Brewing located? Before I forget to ask.
It's going to be 5011
Say it
North
again.
5011 North Saginaw Road in Midland. Great location there. We have a huge facility, and it's a really beautiful spot.
And if somebody wants to book it for an occasion, what do they need to do?
They can email me at events@midlandbrewing.com, or they can call us at the restaurant and leave a message or talk to me in person. I'm there every day.
All right. And Evan, what kind of hours does the brewing company keep?
We open at noon every day, and we are open till 9, except on Sundays. We close at 7?
7.
Yeah, close at 7 on Sundays.
So it's a brewing company, but you got a food menu that goes with it, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Really good food menu. Nice food menu. We got a chef on staff, Greg. He does a great job for us. Excuse me. And we're not constantly changing, but we have seasonal menus throughout the year. We always have certain specials. During the week, we have our Wing Wednesday, which is today, $13.95 for a dozen wings and a pitcher of beer. Pretty good deal, I could say so myself.
Yeah.
And then our beer garden, we converted the storage container into a beer garden out back. That's open Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays. Open from 4 to 8-ish, depending on how busy we are out there. But we have nice cornhole field. It's a AstroTurf cornhole area. We got a fire pit. It's really nice out back. So
Mary Beth, let's talk for a minute about the Midland Business Alliance, because this is kind of a unique concept where you've consolidated several different organizations.
Yeah, it's common throughout the country. We went to an annual conference maybe a year or two ago. It's quite common throughout the country, but not locally. So you'll see, the Bay Chamber and Bay Future, or you'll see Saginaw Future, Saginaw Chamber. We're under one organization. There's a lot of crossover. My role, I do a lot of sales for the chamber side, so our sponsorships, partnerships, memberships, but I also help sell our economic development commitments as well in our investor campaign. So there's so much crossover between the two organizations. We work, together in the same building.
Tonight's event at the Midland Brewing Company is open just to Midland Business Alliance members, employees, and the like. What are going to be the hours of that?
It's from 5 to 7. We do it every third Wednesday of the month, unless there's a big event or something that would push it off. But it's really popular. We see, usually around 120 or so people coming out to that. A lot of it depends on the venue, though. And
bet you have more tonight.
Who's hosting? Yeah, that's what we were kind of thinking. Some people will do, a food truck, or they'll cater food in. But with it being right at Midland Brewing Company, people are going to be able to learn a lot about Alpha Media and what you guys offer in our area and really just throughout the region. But then they'll also get to see what Red Keg is like. So it's good for a venue space. But I go there with my family on the weekends during the week to, use their outdoor space. It's really nice to sit out on the patio and eat, especially with the weather, how it is right now, and let the kids kind of run when they're tired of eating and tired of sitting. And there's ice cream next door, too.
Oh,
so it's a good place to be with your family or just to go out for a drink with friends.
I'm kind of looking forward to it because I had not been to the Midland Brewing Company. So I'm looking forward to it tonight. What got us involved?
Art, we've been involved with all the chambers in the area and with the Midland Business Alliance. With how many great clients we have in the area and the listenership of the station, it just makes a lot of sense for us to have an involvement. And these folks have made it real easy to be able to do that. And
who's going to be there tonight?
We'll have folks from all the different radio stations out there, including Art Lewis. I believe Jim and Jody Kay will both be out there from the Moose.
Oh, Jody's going to be there?
Yeah.
I'm not going.
Well, there you go. Well, darn it. This was going so well. We'll have the whole Alpha crew out there, our sales department and everything, and looking forward to being able to, have a great time.
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun. And again, I'm looking forward to visiting and seeing what the facility's like. I don't drink beer, but I'm fascinated in the way it's produced.
Well, yeah,
I'd like a tour.
I'd love to give you a tour. I'll be there from 5 to 7 as well. So yeah, we'll get a group together and we'll do a little tour of the brewery.
How long does it take, Evan, from the time you decide you're going to do a new recipe to actually having beer that's drinkable?
Well,
how long is the process?
Yeah, we go through a pretty rigorous, I guess, to an extent, planning process for when we're brewing beer, but the actual brew process from the time we have a recipe and get it on the schedule. So brew day to packaging day tends to be about 4 weeks.
Oh, you can do it that quickly.
Yeah, give or take a week or so. A beer that ferments out quick, we might have ready within 3. But like our Oktoberfest, which is coming out on September 9th, our Oktoberfest Marzen, that's a lager. It takes about 2.5 months from brew day to packaging, because you got to lager it. You got to
using terms I have no idea what you're talking about. So we'll have to do a show sometime on how beer is made.
That would be awesome.
Fun.
Yeah,
we'll have to do that. Well, Carly, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Evan, thank you. We'll see both of you tonight.
Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Say hello to Tony for us.
Will do.
And yeah, you
Art's,
too.
Checks in the mail.
Yeah, I'll bet. I'll bet. Thanks, Mark.
I'm going to hold off on that interview about the brew process until Art gets a raise.
Oh, there you go. Whoa, boy, have I got a friend in Midland Brewing. All right, guys, thanks a lot. We appreciate you being here today. We'll be back. When we return, we're going to talk to Pastor Chris Pryor from Victorious Believers about a big event this week. All right, we're back with you here on the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW, and joining us now in the studio from Victorious Believers is Pastor Chris Pryor. Good morning to you, Pastor.
Good morning, Mr. Lewis. Good to be with you again.
Don't say Mr. Lewis. It makes me feel so old, Chris. You know that.
No, it's just the way I'm raised, brought up.
I understand that, but no, I prefer my friends call me Art.
Yes.
And I count you among them. So
thank you so kindly.
Every year about this time, we hear from you because you have a major event at Victorious Believers about families. Tell us about it.
It's all about family. Family is so important, where we raise and support families, give information to help build and strengthen families. And so beginning tonight, we start August the 21st at our church, 624 South Honor Drive at 7 p.m. We're going to start with a little laughter tonight and make sure that all the stress and things that parents and families, children have to go through, we're going to laugh and start with a friendly family feud game, empowering families. But we're doing it with other churches who are joining in with us.
Oh, really?
Yes. And so that's going to be fun. First time that we've done that. And then we'll give some information of how families can grow and strengthen if they're looking for a new home. We've partnered with one of our local banks, Isabella Bank, to spread some information of how a first-time home owner can receive funding. So we do a lot of different things during the family conference to encourage children, help parents, help grandparents, and just foster a lot of love and family.
So when does this run? It starts tonight. How long does this conference run, and how does somebody get involved?
Thank you. Wednesday through Sunday. It's free for everyone to come.
The rest of this week.
The rest of this week, Wednesday through Sunday. We'll take a pause for the first time this year on Saturday, and we'll add that phase on for Sunday afternoon. So it'll be a wonderful time. If they need more information, they can go to victoriousbelievers.com. They can go to VBM Nation on Facebook to find out more information. But it is open to everyone. It is free. Just come. Let's join together as a community. Our theme this year is healthy, wealthy, wise, and free. So if you sing the old, we are family. Yes, we are healthy, wealthy, wise, and free. So we're adding some fun. We're just going to enjoy one another. We have guests coming in from all across the country who will be educating and empowering families.
Chris, folks, I got to tell you, in all the years I've known him and interviewed him, he's always happy. I don't know how you do that.
I'm grateful. I choose to wake up, and I've told our membership to write down 5 things periodically when you wake up in the morning that you're grateful of. And I'm pretty for sure.
The first one is waking up.
Waking up.
When you're my age.
At any age, based upon life and the complexities, we're grateful to live every day. But for family, job, friendships, just there's so many, food, clothing, there's so many different things that we can write down where we're grateful of. Car, a home. We're tremendously blessed in our nation, our country, to be grateful of so many different things. So we can always find negative things, but I just choose to shine a light on the positive things.
Yeah. It's interesting. This is all about family this week. Yesterday, I had Eric Gordon on, who's the principal of the new Saginaw United High School. And in talking about his life and how he got to where he is, it was all about family.
Family.
It was family, family, family. And I can say the same for me. I mean, my mother and father, I didn't have any brothers or sisters, so the good news and the bad news was I was the focus of their attention.
Spoiled.
That's the word.
Well loved.
Well loved. Good. I like that. Very good. Very good. I don't think I ever asked you this, Chris. What's your background? How did you end up in the church?
Family. My parents both were educators. My father was a principal at Flint Northern High School. My mom was a teacher at Doyle Ryder and Walker, gifted school. And so both of my parents, we believe they showed up at every game. They made sure that I was involved in extracurricular activities. And so the church was major. But my father, being from Flint, we would drive to Saginaw to our church. So I was 10 years of age. And at that time, driving 55 minutes to church wasn't something that you saw on a regular basis. But it was a great time for us to talk, laugh. My father loved ice cream. And so we would stop and get an ice cream, and sometimes stopping off at the Bridgeport, exit 144B, we would stop at Wendy's and get a Frosty. That was a special treat for us. So those were special times. And we would drive around in different neighborhoods and look at different homes. And we went to games, went to museums, just different things to grow. So family to me, God first, but family to me is everything. So I have two wonderful young sons, Carrington and Chandler. Carrington is playing football at Saginaw Valley State University.
All right.
Yes, I went out to the practice field and watched him the other day to see how well he was doing. And then Chandler is at Saginaw Heritage. So family. My mother is 81 years young and
So
full
am
of
I.
energy. Yeah,
Good.
yes.
Good for her.
Full of energy. And so we eat all the time on a Sunday afternoon. All those things are so important to me. Sitting down at the dinner table, not getting so busy, but we
glad to hear that.
find out about what's going on in our sons' lives and remain active. So that's a little bit about my story. So when we talk about the Victorious Life Family Conference, it's not just something by name. It's something that we want to instill and make sure that people do and live out in life.
Well, not only that, you live it.
Amen.
Every day.
Amen.
And that's I think that's important because it gives credibility to what you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
I got to take a break, and we'll come back. We're talking to Pastor Chris Pryor from Victorious Believers. Their family conference starts tonight and runs through Sunday. We'll tell you more about it.
Hey, everyone. Cody.
Hi, we are back with you in studio with me, Pastor Chris Pryor from Victorious Believers. They have their Life Family Conference beginning tonight with comedy night, if you will, and that'll be a fun way to start it. But let's talk about the other nights. So let's move from tonight to tomorrow. What happens on Thursday?
Tomorrow night, Thursday, our special guests are from Dallas, Texas, Cheyenne. We call them the Real Smiths. So there was a movie that was entitled The Smiths, and but these are the Real Smiths. They're going to share life experience. It's going to help children, parents, grandparents. He lost his wife at a young age. So we're going to talk about grief. We'll discuss divorce. We'll discuss blended families, and how do we get through these? What are some of the courageous conversations we need to have as family members? So it'll be impactful for many because we'll be discussing marriage and then just the raw truth of managing life. And so that's going to be exciting starting tomorrow night at 7 p.m. The Real Smith. So it'll be a talk show setting that we'll have, and we'll intermingle and have different discussions. Those who are involved will be able to ask questions as well, because we want people to understand how to get through the complexities of life. And so it'll be a wonderful time of being able to discuss. This couple has traveled the world in regards to discussing on these type of topics. And so I want to encourage those to come in and be a part of it. You can watch us on YouTube at VBM Nation, but being there and hearing and having the discussion is going to be very helpful. So I know they enjoyed Thursday night as well as Friday night, which is going to be great. Our theme, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise, where we focus on healthy community. I want to celebrate our board, our team, our family enrichment department, because it was not just about the local family, but the family at large. And so, again, we're bringing in other leaders, different churches, the Methodist Church. We're bringing in Pastor Jim House, the Glory House here in Saginaw. We have Hopevale Worship Team that will be with us. We have Father Adam Maher, who will be with us on Friday as well, with Bishop Hurley Coleman, Apostle James
Stop right
Glenn.
there. Stop right there.
Talk to me.
No.
Talk to
You
me.
got
Art.
Hurley coming.
Yes, that's family.
When I came to Saginaw in 1974, early on, he was one of the first people I met.
What? Isn't that something?
And we used to go at each other something fierce when he was in the Parks Department.
Yes,
in Saginaw.
Parks and Recreation.
We used to go at each other fiercely on
Wow.
air. It was fun. I mean, we had a good time at it.
Yes.
But I love the man like a brother. I mean,
Amen.
there was another gentleman I met when we moved here because we lived right across from him, who I missed terribly, and that was Roosevelt Ruffin.
Oh, wow.
And Rosie was a great guy. You know?
Saginaw Valley State University.
Yeah, and he was just unique.
When I started school at the university, he was there. And I was just speaking of him yesterday because of some of the efforts that he fostered and really pushed, and just great person. So we missed him, and Bishop Coleman. All these individuals will be there. There'll be a great makeup of worship. We'll also have a prophetic word and prayer. We're covering our city, covering our nation, and the body as one. We're not a Catholic body. We're not a Pentecostal body, but it's the body at one. And so at large, we'll be coming together. So we're inviting everyone to come out 7 o'clock to about 8:30 on Friday night. Just come ready to pray together, pray over our city, and let's unite as one.
You skipped Saturday, you said.
So we're skipping
Taking
first
a day
time.
off.
Taking a day off. I couldn't believe it. We've had a lot of different things that have taken place, but we don't miss a beat. We'll follow up on Sunday morning at 11 o'clock for about an hour and a half of worship. We're going to empower our educators, our teachers.
You see how you've encompassed total religion? You might even realize it yet. As a Jewish kid, I can tell you Saturday is the Sabbath.
That's
so
right.
You're doing well.
That's it. Right there. There we have it. So we've encompassed that at all phases, and Sunday is going to be a wonderful time. We'll do the similar thing. We'll have a motorcycle show, car show. We'll have bounce houses. We're going to be giving gifts to our teachers. And so that'll be something that'll be nice and inspiring for them. We'll have giveaways for the children. We'll have a game truck and all those big games outside for children to be able to enjoy and just have a wonderful time with coming together. It'll be an 85-degree sunshiny day, I believe, on Sunday. We'll be outside at 624 South Outer Drive, and people can come from 11 till 3 o'clock, and we'll have a great time of festivities to enjoy and celebrate one another.
Have you always been this affable, outgoing, always smiling kind of guy? Has it been your life?
People would say that. People would say that all my life. I have been. I did get criticized my senior year. One young lady, she said, "Why do you smile all the time?" and I kind of smiled. But it's just been my life. I've enjoyed, been blessed, had great parents who instilled life, love, and laughter. And so my mother would be, she's the comedian of the family. My father was just always known to be a very nice, friendly person. He rarely forgot a name. All the students would come, people have come to our church. He'd remember their nickname. And they'd say, "How do you remember that after 30 years? Wow. And so we just celebrated 25 years at our church on Outer Drive. 25 years, August the 15th. So we're grateful to be a light off of I-75 and to welcome and to love on people. Just tremendously blessed and grateful.
All right. We're going to end on a positive note.
All right.
Before we get there, got to get serious for a minute. There have been poll after poll showing people in this country moving away from organized religion, and even more troublesome than that are polls that show us moving away from God. How do we fix that, Chris?
You know, this conference is all about that. We'll have fun and we'll have laughter, but I believe all of us who know the importance of relationship with God, we must share our heart. And wherever we go, whether I'm in the grocery store, whether I'm at a restaurant sitting and eating, I'm always trying to share the love of Christ and make sure that our message, we've gotten away from going to church, and we've gotten really comfortable. And so with that, the Bible forewarns us that there'll be a time when people will do this. And I believe that it's important for us, those who love and have a relationship, to forgive. I tell people all the time, you have the right to be angry, but not to be angry for a lifetime. And so it's important for us to love each other, to be concerned about everyone, and to make sure that our message of love, 2025, I already have our theme for 2025, and it's going to be leading out with love. How do we be the hands and the feet of Christ? How do we make sure that love is exemplified in every facet of our life? And so this year, 2024, is about being healthy, financially, spiritually, in the 8 different areas that we're focusing on: economically, environmentally, socially. We're talking about being healthy in that area. But the grassroots of it all is love. And so we'll be showing that in so many different areas of how we'll exemplify love in our community, in our family, in our workplace.
I'd asked you before we went on the air how many families you serve, how many families are in your church. And you told me it was 600 to 700, something like that.
Yeah, it's a total of us, including children and all.
Yeah, so you're bucking the trend in some ways, but yet you also said at the end of that, it's tough to get people out.
We don't have the mass returns such as we used to. We have those on our membership. People watch live, and that is great. I'm grateful for technology. I don't oppose it, but there's nothing like coming together. I mean, we can sit and look at a fireplace on a screen, but you don't get the same sense of heat and fellowship of being there. And that's how I liken it. It's nothing about, if you read the Bible, it says love one another, fellowship with one another, come together, support each other. And it's easier to do that when we're together. And that's why our Wednesday nights, we do a family feeding where we eat together and laugh together. I can see in your eye the challenges that you're going through, or I can see the joy that you're experiencing. I can't see that through a screen. And that was the most difficult time for us as pastors.
You know what? I have to tell you, during the pandemic, I did the show from home for 2.5 years. I got tired of looking at people in little boxes.
Amen.
It's not the same as sitting across from you and interacting with you.
Not the same.
Not even close.
Not at all.
Not even close.
Touch is so important for us to touch one another, to be actively engaged with one another and communicating. We lose skill sets when we are not actively involved with one another. And that's so important. It's critical. And I hope we don't lose that. I think in some forms with technology, it is always a blessing, but we've lost some of the uniqueness of us coming together. And so, yes, as a church, we don't have the hundreds as we used to. There's still a few hundred that come, but not like it used to be. And so it is our activity as a ministry to go out and to really make sure that people know the importance of us coming back. Because you can get comfortable doing anything, and then you miss it. But people are still showing up at football and basketball games. To your point, they're not coming to the house where they can be fed spiritually and be stronger to go forward in their lives.
All right, so again, let's remind everybody about the family conference at Victorious Believers. Starts tonight. What time tonight?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Tonight is comedy night.
It's comedy fun. It's family-friendly feud game. So we have this big family feud game that's going to be set up.
Who's going to play the role of Steve Harvey? That's what I want to
We have a young man from Grand Rapids. He's a comedian. He's a lot of fun. Evan Lachey. It's going to be a wonderful time. We'll laugh. Wear your church shirt, T-shirt. I love my church. And we're going to grow one another in regards to being a family. It's not about our church. It's about the kingdom at large.
Is there a website people can go to get more info?
Victorious Believers, VICTORIOUS, Believers, BELIEVERS.com. Or just search VBM Nation. You'll get us there.
Chris, always a pleasure, my friend.
All right, I love you. Thank you for what you do. Love your heart, what you're doing, not only here at the radio, service in our community, police, all those other rescue mission. Man, your hat is in so many different things. Thank you.
Keeps me going.
Amen.
All right, thank you. Chris Pryor from Victorious Believers, Pastor Pryor.
Hello, this is Mel Smith with
Pastor Chris Pryor for being with us today. Coming not Focus, the Art Lewis Show. Focus is coming up. We're going to celebrate 85 years of Delta Door. Coming up next.
Broadcasting from the